Hello, and welcome to another Wednesday, another episode of Umineko. Requiem of the Golden Witch is the arc we're playing today, and have been playing for a while now. Oh boy, I'm excited. Last time, we dove into the life of the culprit, the person who killed Beatrice, and therefore also the person who is Beatrice, or one of the Beatrices, because there are several at this point. If none of that makes sense to you, I have a YouTube channel, and you can just start at the beginning, because we are like 160 hours in at this point, and I cannot summarize that for you. I'm so sorry. I gave up like months ago. Maybe like a year ago. Anyway, yeah, we've been diving into the background of this person. And I would agree with you that that would be Balor's dream, except in these specific circumstances, probably not so much. But just in case you missed that episode, I will not elaborate further. No, he's just gonna have to settle for one, I think. But yeah, this person has had a rough life, like a really rough life. Being a servant from a really young age, made to do tasks, chores that she wasn't able to handle at all because of her age, and being expected to keep up with kids way older and more experienced. You know, I say kids, but like these are, well, they are teenagers, so let's say kids. Let's say kids. But still, huge age gap there. And yeah, just having no one to really rely on, except for Kumasawa, a little bit, who teaches our adorable little future culprit how to not lose keys, how to do her job better, that sort of thing. So it takes a bit of a parental role in a way. And another person who looks after her is, aside from Shannon, is Beatrice. Again, a different one this time. Looks like Gap. So there's like 4 at this point. No, 5? There are a lot of Beatrices, but this will get explained a little better once, you know, we actually start reading. So for that purpose, I will now start at the beginning. I don't do that beforehand because then the audio will cut through, because I haven't bothered to pay OBS yet to get that separated out, because that's like a premium feature. But I should, really. It would make all of this a lot less amateur hour, shall we say. But yeah. So she does also have Shannon to look after her a little bit. That's absolutely true. But still, the theme here is this is a very lonely person who doesn't feel good about. She doesn't feel good about herself. And she's constantly kind of berated, made to feel less worthy, just constantly. So it's bad and sad. Also, as always, we have our laundry list of a content warning. This is going to look a little intimidating if you're new here, but we gotta get through it because this stuff is important, and if any of this means you have to like step away for a bit or just not watch it all, you know, definitely do that. Look after yourself. Very important. Content warning 4. Character deaths, detailed descriptions of gore and body horror, child abuse, discussion and mentions of incest, discussion and mentions of suicide, Character struggling with gender dysphoria, and as always, this isn't because those things are bad, but because if that's something you are dealing with yourself, this might be unpleasant to read about. And I know that from experience. Content warning for misogyny as well, and content warning for awkward skeeviness, because Battler is a teenage boy in the 80s. Forgive him, for he is cringe. And oh boy is he cringe in this one. I did a teensy bit of like looking ahead, not reading ahead fully, but you know, to just sort of make sure that I know it's coming up to a degree, like have a vague sense at least. And oh boy, he's gonna make an appearance hopefully today if I don't read like a super slow person. And it's gonna hurt, and I'm already embarrassed about the things he's gonna make me say, so I apologize. It's yes, his cringe levels are off the charts. Like, oh boy, out of 10. Oh boy. I say oh boy a lot, don't I? Anyway. Yeah. As always, Claire's here to disguise the form of the culprit and to narrate for us. You pioneered cringiness. Yes. Across the globe even, not just in Japan. Right, I'm supposed to be reading. Alright. I need to drink a little more tea first. He's getting the patent on cringe in Japan? Yes. Good. He deserves it. If I see any, like, skeevy, creepy kids in anime now, I'm just gonna be like, you know, Battler did it first. Or better. Or worse, I guess. Definitely worse. It's very weird to go from this subject to sad backstory of person who is integral to this whole story. But we're gonna try. The months and years slid by. In my new, more colorful life, I smiled at the spring sunshine peeking through the trees, gazed up at the column of summer clouds, enjoyed the piles of fallen leaves in autumn, and played in the winter snow the few times it did fall. As these days passed one after another, there was a considerable change to my environment. That was a complete rotation in the servants from Fukuin House. There weren't specific grades like in school, so there was no rule saying how long a servant could work before quitting. Each servant made their own decision about when they would graduate from Rokenjima. Some of those who couldn't stand the environment would quit in as little as 3 days. After all, life on Rokenjima was strict. It was also strict in Fukuin House, of course, but there were a lot of Rokenjima-only rules. And Natsuhi, the one who supervised the servants, was also very authoritarian. It was probably easy to feel constrained. That constrained feeling and the money sat on opposite sides of the scale that they used to decide the time of their graduation. And sometimes, someone from the Ushiromiya family would use their influence to secure someone a new job, encouraging them to spread their wings and start a new life. The cycle usually lasted 2 or 3 years. No one decided this, but it was one of the goals of most servants shot for, an unspoken rule. However, I was an exception to that rule. I continued to live as a servant while going to school in Nijiman. That year, all of the Fukuin house servants quit at once. It wasn't at all rare for friends to quit at the same time as each other. All of my fellow servants from Fukuin house graduated from the island at once, leaving only me behind. Of course, I hadn't been on particularly good terms with them. On the contrary, it was annoying to be treated like a kid and called Yasu all the time. Even when new servants had joined, the older ones got them believing that Yasu loses things all the time, so things had still been unpleasant even then. Those unpleasant older servants, as well as the ones who started at the same time or after I did, all quit at once. The Ushiromiya family had no quarrel with those who left. Adult servants were easier to handle in the first place. Fukuin house servants were only accepted so that they could be trained. So, all of the servants except for me left and no one tried to stop them. Later, Yasu. Don't go losing stuff again. I don't lose things anymore. Later. Make sure you listen to what Madam says. Don't you go troubling the next group of servants. You know, it's still a mystery. Why did someone recommend Yasu? It's even more surprising that Madam let Yasu stay this long. Hey, at least the kids got the guts to not give up and run away. Keep it up, Yasu. I hate being called Yasu. At the very end, I finally said the one thing I'd always wanted to say to them. However, they basically ignored me and just picked up their things and left. Guess you never got a chance to become friends with them. I wouldn't even want to. Yep. I'm sure they feel the same way, so you're even. Just forget about those people. They don't have anything to do with you anymore. So, there's no reason to give them any more thought. Yeah. You're right. I felt just a bit disappointed. I was never able to get them to acknowledge that I'd become a fully fledged servant who could take care of myself. It's hard for people to throw off their first impressions. That's just how it is. No matter how wonderful a person you grow into, they would probably always call you Yasu and make fun of you. There's no reason for you to seek their validation. Yes. Yeah. You're right, Shannon. I'll completely forget about those people. Good. You have two great friends, Kumasawa-san and me. And when the new servants come, you can show them from the start that you can take care of yourself. Shannon was exactly right. I regained a sense of confidence and pride that I hadn't felt since that day when I held the key with a spider-web charm up high. I am now the most experienced Fukuin servant. They just called it Fukuin instead of Gospel House. What happened there? The new servants who come will still probably be older than me, but I need to teach them the ropes as the more experienced servant. Genji-sama even told me to guide the newer servants. Okay. I'll give it my all. That's the right attitude. Let's give it our all together. Yeah. That's cute. She's so excited. My name is Asne. Pleased to meet you.
My name is Belne. Pleased to meet you.
The newly arrived servants looked a bit frivolous and a bit familiar. When I first joined the Ushinomiya family, I was incredibly nervous. However, I couldn't see any trace of that nervousness on these girls.
Yes. Usually, kids with good grades and behavior were selected.
How are they selected? Who chooses?
People from the board of directors come in and interview them, and other things are considered like their everyday conduct.
So, as long as they acted like good kids in front of the adults, they could pass.
Well, there were times that they passed because the adults thought they looked suitable.
All of the children who came from Fukuin House were highly individualistic. Their rough edges would be sanded down as they worked as servants, and eventually, they would grow to be servants who would not shame the Ushinomiya family. However, it was the role of the more experienced servants to encourage this model behavior. Since I was now the only one with experience, it was my responsibility to guide them. What were the new kids like? Elites, no doubt. Of irreproachable conduct.
I think they were like that when Madame and Genji-sama were around. However, when their superiors weren't around, well, they didn't take things quite as seriously. Asne-san, make sure you put your tools on the cart when you're done using them. Huh? Sure. Sorry.
As an experienced servant, I also gave them a warning.
And, Belne-san, you shouldn't set your key down in a place like that. You'll lose it. I'm not gonna lose it. I never forget where I put things.
When I first arrived here, the older servants would often tell me off just as I was doing now. They would probably have been far more mean and obnoxious about it. I'd hated that, so I tried to be more gentle when admonishing them, but they wouldn't take me seriously.
Listen up. You know there's a witch living in the mansion, don't you? Oh, Beatrice. That sounds just like him. Shannon-chan, don't tell me you believe in that too. Yes, she really exists. If you leave things lying around, the witch will prank you and hide them. It's true. It's gotten me into trouble many times. A witch hiding things. That's totally impossible. I mean, come on. Witches? They don't even exist. They don't exist. Witches. I thought they were just pranks. No, I think it just gave me peace of mind to think of them that way while I still could.
Do you think the witch Beatrice actually existed?
I don't believe it. I don't know if it was Beatrice, but I do think that something that wasn't human really did exist in that mansion.
Do you think there's a chance that this non-human thing was Beatrice?
Ridiculous. I wish I could say it was ridiculous. That must have been a prank of Yasu's. No, not a prank. Revenge. I did think that at first, but...
Did something happen that couldn't be explained away as a prank?
It was persistent and creepy.
Specifically,
What sort of things happened?
things I set down would disappear as soon as I looked away for a second.
Didn't Yasu just hide them?
I thought so at first,
It was only natural to think that.
but I started getting this feeling that something wasn't right. I kept thinking, would a timid kid like that really pull such nasty pranks? Can you tell us what happened? When my keyring disappeared, it was easy to think that Yasu snatched it when I wasn't looking. But when just a single key disappeared off that keyring and reappeared somewhere impossible, I couldn't think of it that way. Maybe Yasu just pulled that one key off while you weren't looking.
Is that even possible?
Practically speaking. Quickly hiding the whole ring is one thing, but if you really think about it, taking a single key off of the keyring isn't that easy. Taking the keys would jingle and jangle. I was standing right next to them, facing the other way. If someone had taken their time to carefully remove a key when I was that close, even an idiot like me would have noticed. But a single key just vanished without a sound. At that moment, I finally realized this wasn't Yasu trying to get back at me. It was something worse than that. And where did you find this disappearing key? It was in my locker.
Belne, you're such a ditz sometimes. Are you sure you didn't just take that key off yourself and forget that you put it in your locker? Why would I take that one key off the ring?
Have you ever taken a key off your keyring, Asne? Or put one on?
I tried doing it myself. It's really stiff. I would never go to all that trouble. There's no point in it.
Am I a sleepwalker or something?
How could I not remember something I'd done? I may be stupid, but I'm not that stupid.
I don't forget about things that I do that easily.
And anyway, I know I had my key with me when I entered the room.
Otherwise, how could I have unlocked the door?
Okay then.
Being careful not to make any sound, Yasu must have, slipped the key off and hid it in your locker. That's what I thought at first. I jumped at Yasu, telling that kid not to mess with me. But even as I said it, I realized, isn't there something completely wrong here? I mean, we were with Yasu the whole time that as we went around cleaning the rooms, right? There's no way Yasu had enough time to take a jangly key off the ring. It was impossible for Yasu. In fact, that would have been impossible for anyone to remove just a single key in that short amount of time without making a sound. Maybe the ring was missing a master key when you got it? I already told you. The key really was there in the beginning. I was the one who unlocked that room, so it must have been there. And then I went into the room. I'm an idiot who hates hearing the keys clattering around, so I placed the ring on the bed. Then, when we finished cleaning, I picked up the ring, tried to lock the door, and it was gone. I may have turned my back on the ring, but it was right next to me. So if someone tried to pull a prank by removing just one key, I'd have heard the clinking. And yet, just the key for that room vanished and appeared again in my locker. So, okay, let's say that Yasu managed to sneak it away. It's less stressful to imagine. But still... Oh, that was the other girl.
How could Yasu have put it in my locker then? We were together with Yasu the whole time, right? When I started yelling about it being gone and ran all over the place looking for it, Yasu was with me until the moment I found it in my locker. Get it? I'm telling you, it's impossible. Even as I jumped at Yasu, I began to feel it. I mean, Yasu's eyes seemed to be saying it silently. According to Yasu, the reason things used to go missing all the time wasn't because Yasu was forgetful, but as everyone said, but actually because impossible things would suddenly happen just like they had to me. And Yasu was with you the whole time, so there was no chance for Yasu to put the key in the locker.
Did other strange things like that happen?
Yeah, they did. More stuff went missing, but not just that. Things kept happening over and over. Of course, I started getting nervous and being careful not to just leave stuff lying around, but that didn't help. At first, I was angry at Yasu. But at some point, I began to realize that I was mistaken. One time, a key even disappeared from a ring that was in my pocket. And then I realized these weren't Yasu's pranks. The same thing that had happened to Yasu was now happening to me. Calm down a bit. I think some of those were Yasu's pranks, and the others were just you being clumsy. It's true that the mansion's always dark and eerie, and it does feel like the sort of place you'd find a curse. I'm sure that's what made you scared like that. You saw it too, didn't you? Remember that white shadow we saw vanish into the VIP room that rainy day? Yes, I saw. But couldn't that just have been Madame or Milady wearing something white?
Hello, Cat. Welcome to the stream.
What do you mean, something white? Have you ever seen either of them wearing something like that? And besides, that VIP room is always locked. They don't have keys to it. That had to have been some kind of ghost or evil spirit. No, the silhouette of the witch. So, as you can see, Belne started acting like this at one point. Totally scared. I've got more street smarts than her. So, the more scared she became, the more strongly I felt that this whole thing was stupid and witches couldn't exist. Still, I had to be careful about what I said. I mean, I was starting to realize that this wasn't something I should talk about carelessly. All ghost stories and curses sound stupid to outsiders. But to the people who believe in them, it's absolutely not a joking matter. It really was no joke. Asne didn't believe a word of what I said, so I eventually stopped telling Asne about it and confessed to Yasu instead. I told Yasu I thought you were the culprit, but it couldn't have been you. I said that something strange was happening to me.
And what was the reply?
Yasu said that the same thing had happened many times before, but no one would believe it. Besides, even though the older servants always made fun of Yasu, I knew that Yasu wasn't as clumsy or stupid as they said. I hated being bossed around by a younger person, so I always fought back, but Yasu did have the job pretty much down pat. I'd always thought it strange that people made so much fun of Yasu for losing things. I was then sure. It existed. Some strange, inhuman thing existed in this mansion.
And that was the witch Beatrice?
If Beatrice is what you want to call it, then I believe in Beatrice. Anyway, something that can't be explained away by human actions definitely existed there. People who didn't understand kept calling Yasu and me forgetful. They didn't get it. They just didn't get it. But still, got a little scared, but it spooked you into shaping up, didn't it? And then all that fuss about you losing things went away, right? So it must have been your imagination all the time. You're wrong. I talked to Yasu, Shannon, and Kumasawa-san about it. And they said that the witch really did exist. But all the old servants made sure to respect her. They said I had been cursed because I'd stupidly gone around saying that Beatrice didn't exist. So I reformed. Yasu taught me how to give offerings to the doll in the VIP room. I asked Genji-sama for permission and prayed at the shrine on the reef. And then it all stopped. All at once. You were okay, Asne, since you stopped making fun of the witch. But if you'd cluelessly gone on making fun of her, you would surely have been cursed next. Yeah, I guarantee it. You definitely would have been cursed. Yeah, that kind of stuff makes even me uncomfortable. Though I'd never say it to their faces. You just don't get it. You really don't. So, I made sure to teach all the newer servants well. A witch called Beatrice-sama lives in this mansion. If you make fun of her, you really will be cursed. Belne. When things, disappear, that's a sign that the witch is close by and watching us. If you say it's a prank, or that witches aren't real, you'll be cursed even more. It was like that for both Yasu and me. Whenever a key vanishes, that's a sign that the witch has appeared. Belne-san carelessly tossed her keyring on the bed again, humming as she started to clean. Belne? Okay. Just trying to get a grip on who's talking here, because there's no tags for anyone, apparently. No matter how much I warn her, she doesn't change her ways. Belne, I believe, is supposed to be Beelzebub. Though Belphegor would have the same name, or a similar one. But I don't think we've actually heard her name. I'll have to look those names up later, because I think they are listed somewhere. Maybe I'll put that in the fun facts. No matter how much I warn her, she doesn't change her ways. She's always making fun of me and calling me Yasu, so she won't listen to what I tell her. Why won't you listen to what I say? You mustn't leave things lying carelessly about. If you lower your guard, the witch will prank you. Oh my god. This is one for the Evil Laugh compilation. Look at that delicious keyring lying out there in the open. Wait, that's not what... I went full Gap voice, but it's Beatrice. It's not Gap. Anyway. Stop it, please. That's Belne-san's key. Keep your pranking to me alone. Let the others be. You have become so cautious lately that you are no longer fun. I jest, of course. Still, how unpleasant these people are, refusing to listen to my friend's kindly advice. Any insult to my friend, I take as an insult to myself. Are you planning to steal Belne-san's key? Please, don't do it. She'll think I hid it again. She thinks my magic is naught but the work of a child like you. Very well then. I shall simply show her a feat impossible for humans to perform. I shall show her my magic. Foolish Belne, if that is your name. You will regret that you did not heed the warnings given you by my friend. This flimsy body of mine will not do the trick. I'm borrowing yours. It's been too long since I last demonstrated real magic. Let my body return for a spell, to the land of the living. A shiver ran up my whole body like an electric shock. From that moment onwards, I couldn't move any part of my body by my own will. Like a moment of shock after a blackout, I could do nothing but accept the fact that I had lost control over my body. All of the cells throughout my body felt tingling. It felt as though my body had been transformed into someone else's. I realized that the witch Beatrice was using my body as a vessel to revive for a short period of time. Very nice. That ticklish feeling of the air in my skin. Having a body is simply wonderful. What are you trying to do? Please, don't do anything mean. This time, everything was backwards. My words were spoken inside my heart, and the witch's voice was coming out of my mouth. Fear not. I will return your body soon enough. I just need to teach her a lesson with a little prank. However, it will not be one so simple that suspicion could fall on you. Come, try to remember. Where have you been sleeping? Everything went completely white, and my mind stopped. Once again, that tingling sensation slid up my body. I could feel it all gather in the fingers of both my hands and come out through my fingertips. It was an incomprehensible, indescribable, unknown sensation. My head went blank, and I couldn't think at all. I could do nothing but abandon my soul to the sensation. I finally understood. This is what it's like to use magic. Come, try to remember. Where have you been sleeping? My fingers moved like a puppet's and danced around as though I was a conductor, not of music, but of magic. I never knew that having my body move without my control could be so exciting. When Beato lifted my finger as if a string was attached to it, the keyring lying on the bed stood on end. Belne-san didn't notice. Neither did Asne-san. They were fully occupied by their happy chat as they cleaned the room. I doubt that either of them could have dreamed that a witch was right behind them, readying herself to use magic. They could never have imagined that keyring was doing a little dance right behind their backs. It was like an anime fairy tale I'd seen once as a kid. The happy way the keys danced and spun made it look as though they had a will of their own. I could feel the fun of making those keys dance with my fingers wash over me. Yes, this is pleasure. As I powerlessly watched the witch control me, I couldn't help but surrender myself to this new joy called magic. Whoops, that's no good. If the whole ring disappears, my friend will be suspected again. All we need to disappear is, yes, just the key to this room.
Beato controlled my fingers, controlling the magic, and thereby controlling the keys. The keyring slumped down on the bed, and then just the mansion's master key, mansion's master key stood on end. Well now, what shall I do with this? Just erasing it would be terribly dull. So... why don't I throw it into her locker? That way, I'll give my friend, who's been working here with her the whole time, a perfect alibi. Come, try to remember. Where have you been sleeping? Yes, it was a warm, dark place. The inside of Belne's locker. When Beato snapped her fingers, the key burst and became a gold butterfly. A gold butterfly? I see. It's gold because she's the golden witch who gave the master all his gold. And butterflies are scared of spiderwebs. So, it's a gold butterfly. The minions of the witch, Beatrice, are gold butterflies. After floating into the air, it burst into a shower of gold sparks and disappeared. Then, the vanished key went into Belne's locker. Though it was far away, in the locker of a changing room, I had a vivid understanding of its new state. It wasn't by sight or by touch. It was by some other sense inside my heart, which couldn't be explained by the five senses. A completely new sensation that I'd never felt before. It was the completely alien concept called magic. A completely unknown pleasure that left me in a trance. It is done, my friend. I shall return this body to you. Yeah, butterflies are scared of spider webs because, they get potentially caught in them. And that's also, that also ties into the whole thing where Beatrice is burned by spider webs. That whole, hypothetical, well, no, that whole thing. That does happen at some point. I cannot remember where, but it does happen. Oh yeah, no, that's Elder Beatrice in 6, Arc 6. Dawn of the Golden Witch. I'm just drinking some tea real quick, so it doesn't get cold. There's a lot of tea I forgot to drink earlier. It's just a regular mug, but I've been very into the story, and I kind of just forgot to drink my tea that I had here the whole time, so it actually did go cold already. Oops. Oopsies. Anyway, back to magic. It felt as though I had been spinning through space, and gravity had suddenly come back and thrown me to the ground. Like when you're having a great dream, but you're suddenly woken up, and all you can remember about the dream was that it was fun. That sort of lonely feeling. Though Beato had been borrowing my body, it was my own body that used magic. I could still feel that sensation in my hands. The keyring over there had danced along with the movements of my fingers. No, that's not quite it. The keyring and my fingers had danced together. That fun, that excitement, still tingled slightly in my hands.
Whoops, that was close.
Saying this, Belne suddenly turned around and picked up the keyring she had thrown down on the bed. She must have realized that I was staring at it.
Almost had Yasu complained that I shouldn't leave keyrings lying about like this.
Or keys lying about like this.
I'd never put something down and forget about it.
With a grin, she put the key back into her pocket. However, she still hadn't noticed. She probably couldn't even imagine that during the few moments her guard was down, just a single key had vanished from the ring. It's not easy for a human to do things like that. But with magic, with just a little dance of the keys and a butterfly popping, it had disappeared.
Alright, fingertip inspection. Bed, okay. Curtains, okay. Tools, okay. And keys too. See? Nothing wrong, right? Yes, that's good.
Then, let's go on to the next room.
Belne-san, could you lock up this room for me? Sure.
Hey, I think what she means is that, do the thing where you run your fingertip along something to check if it's dusty. I assume that's what she means. But okay. Dust check, yeah. I mean, I know you know, just... I don't even know. Did Belne-san's key really disappear by magic? Was that fun magic just a daydream I had? I was so scared of that being true that I tested it.
Huh? What's wrong? Why are you taking so long?
Huh?
Huh? Huh? Wait, are you kidding me?
What's wrong?
It's not this one.
And it isn't this one.
Huh? What the?
What is it?
Do you want me to lock it?
I don't get it. What's going on?
My master key is gone. Just my master key is gone.
Why? This ring's so stiff, there's no way it'd come off. I could faintly feel that tingling sensation in the tips of my fingers. It is funny just thinking she's inspecting people's fingertips. I suddenly regret not putting hands on this character model. Because then I could have suck him up. That night, as I gazed at the ceiling from the bed in my dorm room, I looked at my hands. I couldn't sleep. The excitement from the time those keys danced was still there in my fingers. Is this how Beatrice, how witches always feel? I have a witch friend called Beatrice. She always used to pull pranks on me with her strange magic. Because I saw this all the time, I thought I knew what magic was. But today, she had possessed my body and used magic with it. The sensation of magic that I finally felt at that time still held my heart entranced. It was a completely unknown pleasure. Yeah, if I had hands, I could show how not dusty they were. Or maybe they are dusty. You don't know. After all, with the movement of my fingertips, the key had danced on command. It was a mysterious, wondrous miracle of magic, something no human could do. I still couldn't let go of that excitement. Shannon, are you awake? Did you just fell out of bed? What was that noise?
What's up?
Shannon was still awake. Shannon is always early to bed, early to rise. By getting to bed early, all of our weariness disappears by the next day. She lives a model life, one that all servants should respect and admire. If I wanted to become a beloved and respected servant like Shannon, I would need to act that way too. However, I had no confidence that I could do that anymore. I guess I can't become like you after all.
What do you mean? This is a bit abrupt. You were my ideal. Always. Yeah. At Fukuin House, you were kind to everyone and loved by everyone. You would always play with me, and you were my only friend. And at the Ushiromiya mansion, you were a wonderful servant who could carry out any task flawlessly and gracefully. My idol and goal. That's what you were. Yeah. Let's give it our all together. As they say, perseverance prevails. You're gaining recognition from everyone now. So let's aim to become wonderful servants together. I'm done with being a servant. Huh? Instead of a servant, I think it'd be more fun to be a witch. A witch? Oh, what do you mean? A servant who everyone loves and relies upon is... yeah, it's still something I'd love to be. But right now, I want to be a witch even more. Well, that's... huh?
Shannon was confused. It was hardly surprising. All this about quitting as a servant was at least understandable. But she didn't know how to answer after hearing that her roommate wanted to become a witch.
A witch. Beatrice. You see, today, Beatrice possessed me and used my body to do magic. That unknown world felt so... thrilling. It was far more thrilling than even the time I learned that I'd been selected as an Ushiromiya family servant. It was like learning about a new world. As though I'd been living in a world of darkness all my life, and thought I knew what the world was like. Then finally learned what light was and saw the world for the first time. It was joy, excitement.
At that time, Beato had only used my fingers, made a keyring dance, and turned a key into a butterfly before hiding it in a locker. But I had understood it with my body, If I had moved my fingers a different way, the ring could have flown into the air instead of just dancing, and I could have turned it into a scurrying lizard instead of a butterfly. I could have done anything. True, Beatrice's magical power was still weak. It had all happened in the little world behind the backs of the servants filled with the anti-magic toxin. However, inside that tiny, short-lived world, I could have done anything at all. Beato just happened to settle on making the keys dance and turning one into a butterfly. But if she wanted to, she could have done anything else. The endless sensation of that free, unrestricted power. I could still feel it in my fingertips. Could it be that, along with that sensation, a sliver of that magical power might also remain? I can tell. It's still there. There's still just a bit of it there, along with that sensation. I can do it. I can still do it. A single spot of golden light suddenly lit up this dark room. It was right between my clasped hands. When I slowly opened them, I could see a single dot that sparkled gold. What is... Shannon didn't know what the light meant. How could light appear from the palms of my hands? And yet, even with this miracle right in front of her, she couldn't understand what it was. She just sat there, with her mouth open in disbelief. However, to me, this was just the return of that bit of sensation in my fingertips. The golden dot spread out and became a small gold butterfly. It flapped its wings and scattered gold sparks about like Tinkerbell. To Shannon, it probably just looked as though a gold butterfly was flapping its wings. Of course, that alone was a miracle that she could hardly grasp. But to me, it was like a remote-controlled plane in the shape of a butterfly. I could control that gold butterfly however I wanted. Not clumsily with threads. I could make it flap, dance, play through the air as I wished. I was taking a walk through the air as that little butterfly. The golden glint of it pierced the darkness of the small room as it danced about freely. It was an entrancing pleasure. However, that sensation in my fingers began to weaken. I could tell that the few magic butterfly scales left in my fingers were going away. Finally, like a sparkler burning out, the gold butterfly gave out one last blink of light, fell down as a single golden dot, and disappeared without a trace. What on earth just happened? This is magic. It's really fun. Magic. Yeah, magic. I was able to use it just now because there was still a little left in my fingers. But if I became a real witch, I'd be able to use it whenever and however I wanted, to do anything. Now that I've learned how fun this can be, I don't want to go back to being human. Being a servant is just too boring. So, I'm going to become a witch.
I'm a witch. Wait. I've already made my decision, Shannon. It's been fun. I'll give you this room. You can use it by yourself. Later. Goodbye. Wait. Shannon called out repeatedly for me to wait. The massive planetarium swallowed me up. In the sea of the pitch-black starry sky, I was alone. We are alone here. I'm done acting the part of a servant. I'm going to modify the world. Understood. In that case, how would you like it to be? Being a wonderful servant like Shannon wouldn't be bad. But now that I know how fun it is to be a witch, that feels like a boring dream. I can't go back anymore. What will happen to Shannon? Shannon can just be Shannon, and stay as a respected servant. She'll stay the same. But from now on, it won't be the two of us together, but her alone. Partings can be so sudden. Ah, well. Being fickle makes life more entertaining. Then what will you do instead? I want to be a witch. I want to be Beato. But I am already Beatrice. Your backstory that you're a witch and my friend will remain the same. But I'll modify the world so that Beato is me. Would I then be a witch who is a friend of Beatrice? Pretty much. So from now on, you're a different witch. Very well. Then, what will be my new name? I'll put that on hold until I can think of one. You'll be nameless for a while. Sorry about that. Oh, worry not. It is to be my name after all. You'd better take your time and think carefully about it.
I'm pretty sure that in the original translation she says, my precious name, as in, it's very important to her. But with this weird alternate reality translation, they cut that out for no reason. Just like they randomly changed the name of Fukuin House. Odd.
You'll be Beatrice's friend that she's had since she was young and couldn't use magic yet. It started with you hiding my things to tease me. I see. And when Beatrice finally learns magic, I become a friend on an equal footing with her. So I should act like a big sister sort of friend. Yeah, like that. What should we do about how we talk?
Well, I'm gonna elaborate on all of this in the fun fact section of the YouTube VOD, so keep an eye on that.
It seems that Warawa has become firmly established in the way Beatrice refers to herself. Should I relinquish that to you? Yeah. That haughty way of speaking with Warawa will be mine. Very well. Then I shall... No, I can't speak like that anymore. Then I need to find a good way to sound like Beatrice's big sister-like witch friend. Yeah. Or should it be... Very well. Now there's a nice, dignified voice. What about the way I... Let's try that again. And what of my appearance? A good point. I've got a sort of blood red witch look. Why not choose a different color for yourself? When Beatrice wanders the mansion at night, she is often seen dressed in white. Of course, ghosts are classically white. A white dress on a witch. Let's try putting it all together. I need a different look than the witch in the demon red dress. A white, noble witch. Unlike the time with the red witch, I'm thinking about my own look now. So I'd like to make it beautiful and cute if I can. A white dress, a noble look. Like one of noble blood, but with a dark, sarcastic streak. Now, she's like a tomboy princess, so her voice is a mix of formality and rudeness. Then, the dress should be the exact opposite, pure and clean, to make a nice contrast. How does this form suit me? Is this the form of the new Beatrice? How beautiful. Just like a noble princess. I've taken a liking to this form. Not bad at all. Looking good. That's wonderful, Beato. I like it. I truly do like this form. Now, if you can keep this up and give me a wonderful name, that'd be great. If I have to go around nameless for too long, I'll get all sulky. Fear not, I shall find you a splendid name. But first, there is something I must consider. What shall be the form of my magic? Hiding objects and transporting them instantaneously is your theme, so I must think of my own particular theme of magic. When I use magic, gold butterflies will flit about. I'm not backing down on that part. Splendid. Just perfect for the Golden Witch. Then, the weaknesses such as spider webs and the sacred mirror in the shrine will also go to you. Even an all-powerful witch needs a few small weaknesses to keep things interesting. Then let us do it like so. If I touch a spiderweb, it will burn me. Silently, a silvery spider dropped down vertically. Beato, now in her new form, lightly touched the silver spiderweb that trailed out behind it. As she did, there was a faint sound of flesh burning, and a thin burn was left across her fingers. Beatrice can't stand spiderwebs. That was one of the weaknesses of the evil spirits Kumasawa-san had spoke of. Since the witch Beatrice had revived thanks to the power of those evil spirits, she also inherited their weaknesses. So, the sacred mirror is also one of her weaknesses. However, I am unlikely to cross paths with that sacred mirror in the shrine very often. That's not very fun. Then, while mirrors with sacred power will obviously be a weakness, let us make mirrors in general a weakness too. They do often say that mirrors have magical powers. Good idea, I think. Sounds just like a witch. Let us say that I cannot abide mirrors because when I look at one, it feels as though my magical power is being sucked out. That sounds quite entertaining.
Now that I really think about it, I'll be bad with mirrors whether I invent a story for it or not. No matter who I want or strive to be, the only face I will ever show in a mirror is the heartlessly pathetic and realistic face of Yasu. Mirrors, which will always force me to face my shabby reality, are something I always want to avoid. That's right. I hate mirrors. I don't want to look at my own pitiful self.
You don't need to decide everything at once. It's fun to build up a world one little bit at a time. True. I understand. I shall enjoy life as a witch as I slowly expand my world. That tiny dark room is no place for you to sleep now. Indeed. I am the Golden Witch. I am the ruler of Rokenjima's night, and the nighttime mansion belongs to me. That is where I should be living, is it not?
A room for Beatrice. Isn't it obvious?
Yeah, that's right. That wonderful room on the second floor of the mansion.
The VIP room of the witch.
That
Is Beatrice's room.
Oh, so it is. From this evening forward, that room in the nighttime mansion shall be my dwelling place. Why didn't I think of that myself?
Then let's go, Beata. If we're going to drink tea together, we'll need a much better room than that cramped one.
Indeed. That room is too crude to welcome friends to and serve tea in. We shall change rooms. Let us go, my friend.
So, this is goodbye to Shannon. When I looked at my feet, I could see my own dorm room far beneath me. I could see Shannon, who had dashed up to the bed I lay on and had been saying wait at the moment time froze. She was as rigid as a doll. Looking down at it from this height, it really did look like a small dollhouse.
Farewell, Shannon. The days I spent as a human, growing our friendship as I attempted to emulate, were truly fun. If I had never learned the joys of magic and awakened as a witch, everything would doubtless have remained as it was.
I was your only close friend as well, wasn't I? Please forgive me for erasing that friend so suddenly. As a parting gift, I will erase me from your world. Starting now, this will not be a two-person room. It will be a single-person room with just you in it. Strive to be a kind, reliable servant loved by everyone, and embody that ideal as you always have. Yasu, the stupid, clumsy servant who lost things all the time, no longer exists. Farewell, Shannon. When I mature as the witch Beatrice and wander freely about the nighttime mansion, I may bump into you as you do your nighttime rounds. However, when I meet you again, it will not be a reunion. It will be our first meeting. After all, Though you have heard the rumors about the witch Beatrice, you have never met her. Farewell, Shannon. Let us meet again sometime and spin up some fun tale.
Wait.
What was I doing? Was I talking in my sleep? Apparently, I'd gotten out of bed, stretched my hand out towards it. It said, "Wait." This isn't the first time I've woken myself up by saying something strange in my sleep, but I don't remember ever waking up to find myself out of bed and standing up. Could this be what they call sleepwalking? Am I just tired? Gotta sleep. Gotta get back to sleep. I turned around to face my bed. My bed wasn't there. There was no bed in this room except the one I had just turned my back on. If I'm the only one in this room, and the only bed is the one behind me, that must mean it's my bed. That feels wrong for some reason. The bed sheets are all disarranged as though someone slipped out of them. Someone? This is my own single-person room. So, that there is my bed, and the rumpled sheets mean that I was just sleeping there until a second ago, don't they? But for some reason, that bed doesn't feel like my bed. But I, Shannon, have a single-person room. I was the only person to be given one, while all the other kids had to share. So there's only one bed, and it must be mine.
Am I just tired? I wonder.
I must just be half asleep. I have school again first thing tomorrow. And after school, I'll go to the mansion, help out with some work. And then I want to talk to Kumasawa-san about the mystery novel I just read.
Time to sleep. I'm probably just so worn out that I'm imagining things. Good night, Shannon. Just crawl in bed and close your eyes. You won't have to think about anything complicated.
She fell out of bed, she fell back into it. I went back into my bed. It felt a bit uncomfortable to crawl into a bed that wasn't mine. Still, it might just be because I'm getting so sleepy. But it's starting to feel as though this is my bed after all. I'm just half asleep. I am Shannon, a lonely servant. I mess up from time to time, but I want to become a kind servant whom everyone loves. Good night, me. I am one yet many. I have grown tired of playing the servant. I have grown tired of playing the human. From this moment forth, from this night forth, I am Beatrice, the golden witch Beatrice who has lived for 1,000 years. Praise me, servants.
Have fear when you are chosen for the night shift. On the nighttime island, the mansion is my place, and that is my time. Oh, I am one, yet many. Yes, let our world swallow up everything. It is like the raging seas. Well now, let us drink the mysterious moon dry tonight, with this human book as a side dish. You call this mystery. You call this a locked room. You call this a crime impossible for humans. Don't make me laugh. With all these holes and weak points, you call this a crime impossible for humans. Is there no splendid locked room magic capable of astonishing me? Oh, not here, not there, not this, not that, all of them pathetic. It draws out a chuckle, but leaves me unsure which is the side dish, the moon or the book. If I get tired of mystery, I could change myself into a butterfly. I can flip out the island, the mansion, the vast forest at will. I'll follow those cowardly servants as they do their nighttime rounds, and when they check to see that a window is locked, they'll see me laughing at them in the reflection of the glass. I can be fickle and do as I please. Pranks at night will probably be a lot of fun. Yes, my mind is made up. I will play like that starting tonight. How pleasurable. Tonight will truly be pleasurable. In the world of witches, the only limits to your fun are the limits of your imagination. My imagination shall become the source of my magical power. Very well, then this will be fun. I shall allow my imagination to grow without bound, and with it, I shall swallow up the entire island. All nights on this island belong to me. Ah, how refined and pleasant are the days of a witch. Oh, I am one, yet many. Here's to the wonderful world of witches.
That was awesome. Holy shit. It was very hard to read, actually. But man, it was awesome. Uh-oh. I know what that chapter title means. It's getting faster. I got really into it at the end. Or do you mean the music? The music? Yes. Oh, I love that song. Okay, I need some water after that.
Wet.
Whew.
Did you check the bathroom amenities? Yep, went down the whole list. Did you make sure they were facing the right way when you set them down? Yes, of course. Everything is as the list says. Thanks. Genji-sama, the guest rooms are ready now.
Good work. Make sure you check over everything with your own eyes, Shannon. Also, Madam has ordered us to change the tablecloth in the dining hall again.
My. Why again when we all worked so hard to change it earlier today? The color of that tablecloth simply does not fit. Once I saw it against the backdrop of the room, I could see that it matched terribly. We should use a different tablecloth. Oh, And you did make sure to clean the chandelier in the parlor, correct? Last time, Eva-san looked up and said, "Oh, is that dust? And even a cobweb?" That incident must never be repeated.
Do not worry. It has already been carefully cleaned and checked. I will now perform a final check on everything myself.
Is that so? Very well. I will do the same. Shannon, take the young servants and prepare a new tablecloth. Try to find something white, with a bit more of a clean feeling. Yes, as you wish.
Natsuhi was even more high-strung than normal and walked about barking orders here and there. Even though the sky was beginning to get dark, the servants moved hurriedly about. Tomorrow would be the annual family conference. It wasn't particularly rare for the siblings' individual families to visit the island, but this was the only time that they would all come together. It was the most important day of the year for both the Ushinomiya family and Rokkenjima. Natsuhi, who was short-tempered on top of being high-strung, kept issuing orders one after another, only to later change her mind or ask for the work to be done again, keeping the servants busy until late into the night. Shannon now had many years of experience, and Natsuhi had put her in a position of responsibility, which meant that she was frequently called over to be given all kinds of strict orders. So, when Shannon finished her shower and lay down on the bed in the servants' quarters, she fell into a deep sleep almost immediately. I can hear the sound of wind coming from somewhere far away. It's a bit different from the sound wind outside a room would make. It's almost as though I'm sitting in a deck chair in the rose garden, turning over in my sleep, with the feel of the wind in my hair. That's right, the feel. This isn't a sound, it's a feeling. Then this is a dream? Just as I was about to accept this theory, I thought I heard someone talking to me. My. It seems the work of a servant is just as boring as it ever was. Not only boring, but difficult, strict, constraining, joyless. All you get in return for your years of service is some level of respect from the newer servants. And even that is far from sufficient to repay you for all the hard work you've done. Do you not tire of such a life? Huh? Who? She wasn't just imagining someone talking to her. She was shocked to find that it was real. When Shannon opened her eyes, she gulped. This place. She couldn't say anymore. She was literally stunned silent. Shannon, who had been sleeping on a bed, was somehow in a rose garden. However, though this rose garden somehow resembled the rose garden on Rokkenjima, it was also completely different. After all, the roses were golden. Not only the flowers, but the dancing butterflies too. It was a golden rose garden of mysterious beauty. Somehow, Shannon was sitting in the chair under the arbor. It was as though she'd taken a nap there and woken up from a dream. But it felt strange. Is this golden rose garden a dream?
For some strange reason, it felt as though my entire life up to this point had been a dream, and that I had finally awakened here. Welcome, Shannon. Welcome to my rose garden. There was that voice again. Shannon looked around to find who it was. As she did, a golden butterfly landed on the seat across from her and instantly created a human form. It has been quite some time, Shannon. Have you been well? Of course, I know already that you have. After all, I've been watching all of you, every day. This woman laughed as though she was an old friend of Shannon's. However, Shannon obviously didn't remember this strange gold rose garden, and she didn't remember this person's face either. Indeed. You no longer remember me, do you? Have I forgotten about you? If so, please forgive me. There's no need to apologize. I made you that way, so it is no sin of yours. Allow me to introduce myself. I am the Golden Witch, Beatrice. Beatrice-sama? The benefactor of the Ushinomiya family, whom the master always speaks of? Not that Beatrice. I am Beatrice the Golden. The Golden Witch, even. The one who controls Rokanjima's night. I am the other master of the mansion. The one you always pay homage to. You are Beatrice, Sama. You need not fear. The two of us used to be friends. No, roommates, did we not? At one time, I idolized you and tried to be the best servant I could. I've always had a single-person room, so I couldn't have had a... When we last parted, I stole away your memory. However, I have not forgotten that we were once roommates. I also remember that I was the one who destroyed our friendship and left. So, as to not leave you alone in sadness, I erased all of your memories and the very world of our days together. You do not need to understand, but believe this. I have not called you here to do you harm. Isn't this inside one of my dreams? You may think of it that way. Strictly speaking, I beckoned your soul to my garden while you were sleeping, to invite you to be a resident of this world. Beatrice snapped her fingers, and a storm of gold butterflies all rose up around the rose garden. As the cloud of butterflies danced over the table, a gorgeous tea set appeared. There were teacups and a teapot, more elegant even than those used by the Ushinomiya family. The tea filled the cups to the brim and had a sweet rose scent, one which Shannon had never smelled before. Before there was even time to be amazed by that scent, butterflies started gathering one by one on the table, and a tea stand sprouted right out of it. It was like watching a magical mushroom from a fairy tale kingdom grow out of the ground. The many-layered tea stand was filled with beautiful cakes that were deserving of being called edible jewels. Of course, there were also several lovely light brown scones. The honey truly was golden honey, with bits of gold leaf dancing through it. It seems the Ushinomiya family holds tea parties from time to time, but those cannot compare to mine. Incredible. I've never seen anything like this. Even if you had, it would only have been as a waitress. You are my friend. I need no waitress. After all, I am a witch. That is more than enough. Come, do not be shy. Stuff yourself to your heart's content. Thank you. Thank you very much. That was all Shannon could manage to say. It would be hard for anyone to say much more after being suddenly invited to such a beautiful witch tea party. Let us begin with black tea. The milk is fresh and the sugar is so delectable that you'd almost want to eat it raw. But I recommend you try your tea straight first, with nothing more than a single rose petal flowing on the top. It will surely be so delicious that you'll be unable to drink the black tea of the human world ever again. Laughing happily, Beatrice opened, not a sugar pot, but a rose petal pot, picked up a single crimson petal, and floated it on her tea after relishing its scent. Shannon did the same, picking up a single petal and smelling its aroma. It smells so wonderful. Is this really the scent of the roses in this world? I'm glad you enjoy it. I bred this rose simply for the purpose of using the petals with black tea. If you crush them, they're also splendid for making jam. That goes better with scones than anything else imaginable. Do you want to try? Sure. Just a bit. Shannon had been invited to this witch tea party suddenly. However, the witch seemed so truly innocent, and her smile as she played the hostess was so happy that it made Shannon want to smile too. The tension in Shannon's heart gradually faded, and she started to enjoy her chat with this witch. Servant work really is tiring. I remember it well, particularly cleaning the windowsills in the chapel. How surprising. So, you worked as a servant once too? For a short time. You probably don't remember, but I worked alongside you. I was a clumsy fool who always lost things. You were my idea of a perfect servant and the person I looked up to. That makes me even more sorry that I can't remember. There's no need for apologies. Here, you're not a servant, but my friend and guest. There are no inconveniences here, no trials nor boredom. I can give you anything you desire. That is how much power I currently possess. I wanted to let you know that I had now reached that level. I can't believe you've given someone as ordinary as me such wonderful treatment. Thank you very much. Think of it as a reward for all of the painful days you have witnessed. Come, gold butterflies. Do not bore my friend. Show her a little dance. When you have tired of that, allow me to call the band to perform any song you would like. If you tire of that as well, my refined familiars will show you magic without tricks. Fear not, for time is endless here, and I can grant your wishes endlessly. My tea party has no end. In a truly good mood, the witch told Shannon several strange stories. They were all stories Shannon had never heard before, very interesting stories. And they were all odd, bizarre fairy tales. Shannon felt as though she had become Alice in Wonderland. The time she spent at this tea party was wholly strange, pleasant, and relaxed. No, at this tea party there were no hands of a clock. So the time passed like a Sunday morning when you can wrap yourself in your blanket for as long as you want. I can't express how grateful I am to you for this. There's no need for thanks. In the human world, words of thanks go along with words of farewell, do they not? There will be no end to this tea party, so there is no need for thanks either. But I am grateful. Thank you so much, Beatrice-sama, for this wonderful tea party. But all dreams must end, and so must this one.
Oh, and why must they end?
Because I have to get up early tomorrow. If I stay here talking too long, I'll sleep in, and Madam will give me a good scolding.
Why are you so anxious to return to the world of that short-tempered Natsuhi? Really now? Are you really saying you want to return to the human world where it's all work and no rewards?
But I am human. I can't impose myself on you forever.
Shannon, it seems that you do not understand. I invited you here, but I have no desire to chase you away again. Here, time is eternal. You are not obligated to say farewell. I will never tire of enjoying tea with you. On the contrary, it is quite agreeable to have you to talk to.
I am grateful for your words, but I am human. I must return to my own world.
That colorless world where you waste all your time at school and your job, and the family works you to the bone. Why do you want to return there?
Despite all that, it's still my world.
Shannon, does that sort of world really need to be yours? Let me be honest with you. Shannon, I didn't just invite you here. I came to take you home.
Take me home?
Once I tried to become a good servant like you. Then I became fascinated by witches. And became one myself, learning all the pleasures of magic. And now, I've come to take you home. Beatrice spoke quietly and slowly rose from her seat.
Shannon,
the world of witches truly is more fun than being a servant. This tea party is nothing more than a mere welcoming party for an old friend. We can hold as many fun festivities as we desire. Yes, endlessly, eternally. Now that this golden rose garden has been completed, I've reached my goal. This place is paradise. Yes, let us call it the Golden Paradise. Now that it has been completed, I have come to welcome you in. There's no need for any inconveniences, any perseverance or hard work. Here, you and I can enjoy ourselves for all eternity. It will be like a never-ending fairy tale.
I'm truly grateful for your splendid proposal. However, I need to go back to my original world.
Why?
Because this isn't my world.
I acknowledge it. This is not the world you have lived in until now. That's why I've invited you here. From this point forth, this will be our world. You are no longer a guest. You are the second master of this world. You need not show any restraint for my sake. We will simply live in this endless world like we once lived as roommates.
I regret that I have no memory of that time. However, I'll have to turn down your invitation.
Why? What responsibility do you have to the world of humans?
What duty do you have to return there?
True. The world of humans, or the world of servants, is busy all the time. Madam is strict, high-strung, and has a short temper. It'd be a lie if I said the everyday chores weren't a pain, and having to balance work with school makes it even harder. Beatrice had watched over those painful days the whole time. She had seen those constantly tired shoulders heave in a sigh many times. That was why she had invited Shannon here, to this golden paradise. She had tried to give Shannon a perfect welcome to truly make her happy. So why had Shannon selected her original world over this one? Beatrice was overcome with shock and completely unable to understand. I have given you the perfect welcome to this paradise, and the days to follow will be even more fun. So, if you still choose the human world after all of that, does it mean that you find something there that is even more fun than the pleasures of witches?
That's right. There are things in the human world that are even more fun than magic.
Absurd! That can't be!
Yes, it's true.
Shannon's expression was soft. However, her words were firm. There is something wonderfully alluring in the human world. And that something was apparently not in this paradise, which was supposed to have everything just as they wanted it. Absurd. I don't understand. I don't understand. As Beatrice muttered, she shifted restlessly several times. However, no matter how often she said it, Shannon's smile didn't falter, and Beatrice couldn't think of an answer.
In that case, it's time for me to leave. Your tea really was delicious.
I don't understand. I don't understand. I am the great golden witch, the one who can have an infinite quantity of anything I desire. You tell me that there is something I cannot obtain?
Yes.
I want to know. I believed I had everything, so tell me what it is I lack.
I think that you already know. Isn't that why you invited me here?
Are you trying to speak in riddles to a witch?
That's all for now, then. I can't live here, but I would be glad to come over when you invite me for tea. Whenever you invite me for tea, even.
I won't call for you again. Have no fear of that. Beatrice snapped her fingers and Shannon popped out of existence. She had returned Shannon's soul to the dream of her original self. Although many people have many dreams in a night, they can remember none of them. The tea party in this paradise would mix in with many other dreams and vanish. The next morning, Shannon would not remember this tea party. However, Shannon's cup remained here. The witch who had lost her guests was standing alone looked all the more lonely. The witch dug her fingernails into the tablecloth. That grimace as she bit her lower lip made it clear that she still hadn't solved the puzzle Shannon had left behind. Ricci, there's no need to worry about it. Above Shannon's empty seat, a black hole opened, and the owner of that voice fell out of it. I do worry. How could she say it with such certainty? Maybe she just wanted to get back to sleep quickly since dawn is coming soon. What
pleasure could Shannon know that I do not? What is this something that can be found in the human world but not in my paradise? I don't understand. I want to know. Thinking about complicated stuff will just fuel your headache. I can be of service in Shannon's place. Let's enjoy a tea party together. I am no longer of the mood. I am bored of having tea parties with you. Aw, she's cranky. The witch shrugged and laughed, then took a bite out of a scone. She then blew into it, and it swelled up like a balloon before finally popping. Golden ribbons and butterflies flew out, but Beatrice didn't appear to notice. Just what is it that I do not possess? What?
Watch your step there.
Thank you, Captain. Make sure you take good care of yourself.
I've got a friend who sells this stuff that's supposed to be great for stiff shoulders. I'll bring you a sample next time. Oh, no need to trouble yourself, but thanks for caring. Hey, brats. How long are you gonna mess around up there? Let's go.
Hey, Maria. Come down off the boat with Mama. Maria, who Rosa led by the hand, was still too young for kindergarten. However, she seemed to notice that her cousins, whom she rarely ever saw, were playing all around her, and she was very excited. Balor and George had the energy of middle school or nearly middle school kids. Those two, along with Jessica, who had met up with them on Nijima, were making a whole lot of noise on the deck. You okay, Asumu? You really don't like writing things, do you? Rudolph lent an arm to his wife, Asumu, whose name I think I pronounced wrong like thrice there, but yeah. Yup. Can't do any retakes, this is live.
Welcome to Rokanjima. Thank you for making such a long journey.
She's now assuming. No. I've accidentally rewritten the canon. The precious lore. The whole family had gathered for the conference. At this point in time, Rudolph's wife was still Asumu, and Anja hadn't been born. This is where the world diverges. Alternate universe. Oh no. There's already so many. Goda and Kanon hadn't yet been employed by the Ishinomiya family. And the witch's epitaph, which would toy with the family's fate, hadn't appeared yet. They probably couldn't even imagine the bizarre crime that awaited them several years in the future. Kraus-sama, madam, the family has arrived.
Good. Then I will call for father.
Please do. I will go welcome everyone. Ah, Shannon. Who cleaned this window frame? It still has dust on it. Quickly, wipe it off. As you wish, madam. Come on. Natsuhi is making her work so hard again. Just what good does she find in such a fussy, ulcer-inducing life? I wanted to know. Shannon, what is it that you found? What did you mean when you said that I already knew what I was missing?
Shannon, is this something I must learn by learning about you? What's different about the day of the family conference on Little Kanjima? It's got to be the noise. There's never this many kids around. It may have been a tension-filled day for the adults, but to us kids, it was a wonderful day, the only time we got to see all of the cousins we loved. Oh my god. It has been so long since Balor said anything. What the fuck? I actually kind of forgot how I used to do his voice. I've missed you. He's back, our boy. Our sweet, weird, cringe boy. What did you sound like again? In the summer, we could play with our cousins on the beach, and there were plenty of games we could play in the winter. The family conferences were tons of fun for us. Same here. Mom was always yelling about how there must be no mistakes, but to me, it was just the day I got to play with all my cousins. After all, there's usually nothing at all to do on Dokonjima. Jessica got to live on this huge island with a private beach. I was always jealous of her when I was a brat, but thinking about it from her perspective, it must have been a pretty constricting place to live. Yes, probably. There's hardly anything on Dokonjima. No friends' houses, no next-door neighbors, no neighborhood. When I consider Jessica-chan's feelings about that, I feel a little sad for her. That's why the family conference was so special to me. Jumping around, messing around. It felt like I was at a festival. We spent every last second joking around together. If the adults always talked about adult things and told you to go play somewhere else, and you were 3 cousins at about the same age, of course you'd horse around. No, it wasn't 3. There were 4 of us. I thought Anja wasn't born yet, and Maria was still too young to play with you. You've got it wrong, Furfur. The cousins weren't the only ones at the same age. Shannon-chan was the 4th. She was about the same age as the rest of us. Mom was always going on about not talking with the servant kids, but Shannon and I started to get close. After all, she was the one girl closest to me in age on the Rokonjima. All 4 of us played together. We played at every family conference. Right, Shannon? Yes. I knew that Madam would scold me if she found out, but I wouldn't have let her. You were always the one close friend I had who could understand me. Thank you for your words, milady. I could not hide my shock. How had she formed a relationship with the children of the family despite being only a servant? Natsuhi had probably been very careful to prevent such a relationship. However, it's no surprise that Jessica, all alone on this island, would want to be friends with a kid of her own age. And Shannon was also alone on this island without any friends her age. Though they both understood their relationship as master and servant, they somehow managed to strike up a friendship. Then, at the family conference, Jessica had introduced Shannon to George and Battler. All of the adults had their hands full with their complicated discussions in the mansion. During that time, Shannon was able to put aside her role as a servant for a little bit and act her age with Jessica, George, and Battler. I had no idea that Shannon had constructed this new world so quickly. As a butterfly hiding in the shadows, I observed this new world of Shannon's. That day, we ran all around the rose garden and the beach. Just running around and playing was a blast. Yep. Those were the only times that Shannon-chan smiled like a girl her age.
I might have gotten a bit carried away. It's embarrassing.
Balor's insanely huge now, but back then, Shannon and I were both taller and stronger than him. I just grew slowly back then.
They say that those who start late end up the tallest.
Yeah, totally. Remember the content warnings. The boy is cringe. And I hate him for making me say these things out loud. Back then, your chest was nothing like this, right? That's not true. Even back then, Shannon was starting to develop womanly charm, right? What the fuck, George? I trusted you. Now it's filled with treasure.
Who knows?
Jessica, what? That can't be right. That can't be what she actually says, right? What the fuck? What does that mean? That doesn't make sense in this context. Yeah, must be a mistranslation, right? What the fuck? That's so specific, though. What the hell do you mean by womanly charm? Sounds kinky? Question mark. Well, I was still pretty adorable back then myself. What? I said that sentence with the intonation of it being like in a different order than it was, but the order it's in makes... I have problems with this version of the translation, and I looked into changing it. I think I mentioned that a while ago, and I decided against it. Because you do lose out on some of the like graphic effects if you switch to a different mod. So I kind of went with style over function, and right now I regret that. And I also regret the upcoming line. Balor, that's not adorable. Okay. You need to stop, sir. Yeah, this is like all RGB computer gear, let's be real. You don't need that shit. You don't. But you still get it because it's pretty. And I literally have my keyboard lit up in trans flag colors right now, so I have no room to like judge here. It was worth every cent. Well, I was still pretty adorable back then myself. That strap you could see through the shoulder of her summer clothing set off the lightning of youth in me. I remember whispering with George Aniki that night about how big her tits were. God damn it, Balor. Shannon, why are you okay with this? I was about to say who raised you, but nobody did. But who raised any of these people? Like, holy shit. Is this what rich people are like?
Is this true, George-sama?
Yeah.
I believe there has been a great misunderstanding. All I remember was lecturing him as the older and more knowledgeable cousin about the differences between how boys and girls grow. And so, rather than dirty talk between cousins late at night, it was instead a sign of healthy growth and a lack of respect for girls and women. Excuse me? Dumbass. I mean, they're kids, you know? Kids talk about stupid shit, but wow.
I'm a grown-ass adult. I don't need to be saying these things out loud, okay. So, yeah, I remember all of us cousins talking about that kind of stuff until midnight. About how apparently someone in the next class had kissed someone else, or how you held hands with a girl you liked at summer camp. And about so-and-so who you thought probably liked you, stuff like that. I don't think that's the same, Jessica. Damn it, it's so embarrassing, it makes me shiver. Yeah, you and me both. That's how you know you're down with the kid. I'm not down with the kids, not with these kids. Anyway. Isn't that nice? Another sweet page in the book of adolescence. The most pure love comes when boys and girls first start noticing each other. That simple, pure desire just to be around someone of the opposite sex, or the same sex. The noble first loves. Just wonderful. A bunch of kids thinking and talking about the world of love. Remember folks, it's Pride Month. Did that sort of thing really happen? Don't play dumb. You were the most absorbed and curious of all of us, sitting there till even your ears turned red.
I was not curious. I was just surprised at how much everyone knew.
Yeah, Shannon always played dumb the most, even though she was the most interested. She was the biggest pervert there.
That's not true. That's not true. I hate you, milady.
Yeah, it was always like this. In the day, we'd run around like kids, and at night, we'd hug our pillows and talk about secret stuff. Looking back on all of it now, it really brings back some fond memories. We'd be whispering about something dirty, and whenever we heard the footsteps of the adults coming by, we'd jump under the covers and pretend to be sleeping. Yeah, I remember that. Like some school field trip.
Those times we all dove under the covers at once. It felt like some sort of unspoken rule, like a strange sense of unity. I really liked that feeling.
Oh, anyway. That's not all we talked about, thankfully, because then we can save Sam from this hell. There was a lot more than that. We really did enjoy our youth to the fullest. Thank you. There might be more coming up. I don't remember entirely. I hope not. It wasn't as bad as I remember it being, so that's a plus. But I did want to crawl into a hole and die for a second there, so... Congratulations me for sticking it out, and thank you for still being here with me through all of the... all of the awkward skeevy crap. I don't know, I just have a really hard time dealing with that. It's so over the top, I don't know. Anyway, back to business. And our business here is storytelling. And what is this? Do you prefer it being over the top? You know what? Okay, I see your point, that's fair. Shannon, is this that fun thing of the human world? Is this incomprehensible messing around the thing that you found? A bunch of kids gathered together, playing stupid games and talking about trivial things. Is this the human pleasure you found that surpasses the pleasure of witches?
Yes. Doesn't it look fun to you?
I will not call it boring. However, the idea that such a vulgar game could compare to my paradise, where all wishes can be granted, is unfathomable to me.
Interacting with people is a lot of fun. Of course, I also think your world is fun. But even so, I choose this world.
I don't understand. I don't understand. Beatrice held her head as though she was having a headache. But no matter how much she grimaced, she couldn't think of an answer. Tell me, what is it you found within this vulgar playing?
Do you want to know?
I do.
Love.
Love?
Here.
It's the mystery novel I promised.
Thank you very much. I'd be happy to borrow it.
That's okay. You can keep it, Shannon. I've already read it.
But I can't accept this. It was probably expensive.
It's just something I got for a few hundred yen at a bazaar. Don't worry about it. I'd rather if you read it quickly so we can talk about it. It's fun to talk about this sort of stuff with you, Shannon-chan.
Yes, it's fun for me too. It's much more fun to read mystery novels with two people instead of alone.
I like discussing it and imagining all kinds of things. With mystery novels, reading is only half the fun. My theory is that you can only really enjoy a mystery novel when you talk with other people who've read it too. It all started when we realized that we both read mystery novels. We were both surprised and very interested to find that the other not only read tons of mystery novels, but read them very thoroughly. Ever since then, it's been like this. Separate from the games we played with all the cousins, the two of us met together for some time alone. At first, it was like a sort of contest to see who knew more than the other. However, eventually, this turned into respect for how much the other had read, and how deeply they were able to think about it. Respect. Trust. Those emotions made our friendship even stronger. Of course, all of that had still fallen within the category of friendship. But we were still slightly aware of the fact that the other was of the opposite sex, making for a relationship that was charming or youthful, or maybe you could call it exciting. However, we were still so young that even the word youth felt like it might be overstating our age. Of course, we didn't know a thing about love, so we couldn't understand that tickling feeling in our chests, both bitter and sweet, that we only felt when we were alone together. However, we realized that there was some unknown emotion hidden behind that feeling, and as our hearts raced, we had our hands upon the door. That was the exciting age we were at. So, at some point, our discussions about mystery novels became just an excuse for us to spend time alone together. There aren't many mystery novels that care much about the whodunit.
The whodunit? You mean the culprit's motive?
Yeah. There are 3 points you need to figure out in mystery novels: the whodunit, the howdunit, and the whydunit. A lot of mysteries deal with the first two, but surprisingly few worry about the final one.
Well, I know about many works that take great care to have the culprit confess his motive after he's found out. but it has to be something you can reason out before the culprit confesses, or it doesn't count. When the culprit is someone who didn't appear to have a motive, and they commit the crime for reasons that are impossible to deduce, personally, I think that's unfair. Who done it? Who's the culprit? How done it? How did they commit the crime? Why done it? Why did they commit the crime? Who the culprit is and what tricks they used? There are a ton of works that ask you to figure that out. In fact, almost all are like that. However, I don't think there are many novels that ask you to figure out the motive. Good point. Out of the trio of who, how, and why might be the most neglected. Mysteries that don't take the why done it seriously don't really feel complete to me. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying they're boring. It's more like they're missing the most important part.
Lulu, you're right, but people don't write mystery novels about serial killers. I wonder what that would be like if they did, and the motive is just like, I felt like it. And how you then are supposed to deduce that motive. You know what? You might have just invented a whole new genre.
The most important part is missing. The heart.
The heart is missing.
The heart.
I think the human heart is a really important thing.
For a person to decide to commit murder, plan it out, get everything ready, and actually carry it out, that'd take an incredibly strong force of the heart.
The heart is what moves people. In other words, only the heart can kill a person. When an emotional upheaval grows strong enough to make a person want to kill, the result is the tragedy called murder. Putting it the other way around, that means that the true way to close in on the crime is by searching for the heart that brings about the tragedy of murder. Only the heart can kill. So, if a person has been killed, you must search for the heart. That's what he told me.
So, novels where the culprit is just a homicidal maniac who kills for fun don't really do it for me.
Lulu, you heard it here. Balor disagrees with you. And personally, I think people who have like a reason to kill are scarier, honestly. We can talk about that later. Balor, you're boring. Oof. Balor, Lulu thinks you're boring. I'm sorry, dude.
Then, you like novels that show a strong enough movement of the heart to lead to murder? That's right. And the ones that let you reason that out are my favorite stories of all.
As he spoke, he looked back at me and smiled. Before today, I used to like novels that focus on exposing the tricks. However, I decided to look for novels like the ones he recommended in the future. I don't like ignoring the heart. The heart is what drives people to act.
Yes. I think you're right.
This isn't limited to the mystery genre. All people, at all times, are driven by their hearts. Figuring out the heart is the essence of interactions between people. No, interactions between hearts. None of us humans can live on our own. And yet, we have no way of peeking into the hearts of others. That's why every meeting between people not two people, just people in general, is its own mystery of the heart. Encountering those mysteries, reasoning about them, and understanding them is what allows people and hearts to connect with one another. The two of us are here, by ourselves, talking together about mysteries. And through that, we are exploring each other's heart and debating its mysteries. I want you to feel about me the way I feel about you. We're both exploring, trying to figure out the depths of the other's heart in this mystery of love. Look how late it's gotten. I wonder if Aniki and the others are waiting for us.
Yes, we should probably go back soon.
Time seems to fly by when I'm talking with you, Shannon-chan. You seem to be speaking the words of my heart. You were thinking the same thing, so the same words came out.
I wish we could talk together like this forever. I hate clocks.
Same here. Talking about this stuff with you is the most fun part of coming to Tokonjima. When I saw that his smiling eyes were looking right at me, I turned around. I couldn't let him see my suddenly red face.
If only I could go out into the world at large. I'd be able to reach so much more.
The bookshop on Nijima that I go to and the bookshop he goes to in the city are on completely different scales. The book exchange between the two of us had become completely one-sided, with him giving me all the books. How long do you plan to be a servant, Shannon-chan?
I don't know.
If someday you decide to quit.
If I do?
Come over to my place. He said it almost carelessly. Maybe he was a bit embarrassed since he laughed weakly and blushed. And then we won't need to worry about time running out anymore.
That's right. We could be together as long as we wanted.
The little secret dates on this island only happened a few times a year. And even when they did happen, it was only for a short, uncertain period of time. It wouldn't work over the phone or with letters. We can only talk about our mystery when we're standing together like this. I know that day will come someday.
You think it will?
Yeah, I'm certain of it.
Certain.
How can he be certain? When that day comes, I'll come for you, riding a white horse.
What?
After saying this, he turned away. He was probably too proud to show me his blushing cheeks. But even without seeing, I knew what his face looked like. To come riding on a white horse. Who did that again? Isn't that like a fairy tale prince? So what exactly does that mean? Does that mean you're going to be my prince? My mind was going blank, so I just couldn't reason out his mystery of love, even though it was all plain and simple.
I wonder when that day will come.
as soon as you make up your mind.
Huh?
My heart skipped a beat. It was so sweet, yet it hurt. Any time's good for me. This is your life we're talking about, Shannon-chan. You should think about it carefully before you decide. And once you've decided, I'll respect your decision, no matter when you make it.
Okay.
I'll keep on waiting until that day comes. If I were a bit more foolish and courageous, I could have told him that my mind is already made up. And I could have asked him to take me away from this island right now. But I can't. I have to think carefully about my future for both our sakes. My head filled with pointless, senseless thoughts.
I'm happy to hear you say that. Thank you.
With his back still to me, he scratched his head and laughed. I knew he was doing this out of embarrassment, so I could clearly tell what his expression must have been. In the same way, he must have realized what my face looked like. We're both puzzle solvers of love. We theorize about each other's love, solving each other's mysteries.
Thanks for giving me time.
You have all the time in the world.
No. I'd feel bad if I kept you waiting too long. So, I've made up my mind. No, I should say that I will make up my mind. I'm not going to quit my job immediately today. Yes, that's it. 1 year. 1 year from now.
If 1 year from now, you still feel certain about coming for me on a white horse, and me too. If I still like you a year from now, I'd like to dedicate the rest of my life to you.
1 year from now, in this very spot, I'd like to make a resolved decision.
A whole year, huh?
That sounds good.
Spring, summer, autumn, winter. That's a good amount of time to look deep into your heart.
So, next year, you'll come to get me, right?
Yep. He responded to my cowardly resolve with a quick, strong answer. I'll be waiting for that day to come.
Yes. I'll be waiting too. Make sure you come, okay? Yeah. Don't forget. Come here next year, okay?
Yeah,
I'll definitely come.
I'll meet you here. Definitely. And that's where we're gonna quit. I know, it's another quick cliffhanger. But the next bit's gonna be a lot for me to read, so we're gonna have to do that next week. Oh. You think so, Kat? Could be. Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? You might. I definitely do, but I won't say. I will tell you that this is one of those episodes that gives a ton away. Like, in the sense that you still need to like kind of look for it and need to kind of read into stuff, but a lot of clues, a lot of hints. And yeah, oh, I have to be so careful with my words right now. It's a very, very fine balancing act of like. Well, I mean, there's people who don't get it until like the actual reveal. Some people got it as soon as like episode 3. There are memes. Because of the memes, some people thought it wasn't true, and it turned out to be true. That sort of thing, you know. You know how that goes on the internet. It was the same like 12 years ago. Nothing has changed in that sense. It is pretty tricky. It's once it's over, we're gonna do like the just chatting stream and sort of like talk about the series as a whole, and I'll go over some of the memes and why they're so funny. And also some of the ones that accidentally got things right, or potentially on purpose, because people are, I don't know, some people are just really good at figuring shit out, I guess. Not me, though. Normally I kind of talk, like, about my thoughts about an episode after the episode, and today, oof, it's rough. I have to be so careful. I do enjoy this episode, despite all the complaining I did about grown-up battler. Well, mostly grown-up. Kid battler, adorable. That's Kid Shannon, adorable. Baby Beatrice, great, fantastic, love her. We saw the birth of Gap, although she's not called Gap yet, so she's kind of nameless at the moment. But yeah. Very packed episode with a lot going on, and I can't talk about most of it because you know, I might give too much away. But there were a couple of moments where I had to be like, okay, deep breath, you know, because it seems like really basic, innocuous statements, like, just no big deal, you know, but if you know the full story, some of the stuff that gets said this episode, like, hurts. So that's interesting. Like, I can imagine people, like, reading this with, you know, no context, no, like, just starting from episode 1 and just going through the whole thing, never having read this before, and they're just gonna, like, be like, oh, that's interesting, that's cute, and then meanwhile, I'm over here like, you know, internally, and I have to not let that seep into how I read things, so it's a tricky balance, but I did okay, I think. I'm happy with how that all went. But yeah. Don't stain their words with your tears just yet. Yeah, there'll be plenty of time for that later. And then you'll all be crying with me, so then I'll be allowed to. Teehee. You look forward to it, great. Me too. Thankfully that's still a while off before we're all gonna be crying in public. But it will happen. So, you know, I'll put in plenty of warnings like bring tissues, you know. We'll do like a little sign-off thing, like I'm not gonna start until everyone who's here says they have tissues, that sort of thing. Oh shit, we're gonna have to do that multiple times. I just realized. Because I've been saying this from the beginning, this is a sad story for the most part. There's plenty of good and happy moments in it, but there will be tears. You have been warned. But for now, you know, we'll just ruminate on how cute that scene was with Shannon and Battler when they were kids. Because wow, they were adorable. We are definitely getting to the heart of the story. And the heart is the most important part. So, yeah. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it. I hope everyone's enjoying it. I, for one, am having a great time with this, and I'm still very glad I get to share this story with other people. And, you know, it's not quite the same as reading a mystery with another person and, like, theorizing about it together, but sharing a mystery makes it more fun. And, actually, Kat, yeah. Those statements, like, without love it cannot be seen and you have to search for the heart, those are very strongly tied together. So, you're definitely onto something there. Alright. I'm going to wrap up for now. Next week on Monday, I will be reading Siren's Call. I keep forgetting the name, I'm very sorry. It's another visual novel, a lot shorter. It's about saying goodbye to your friends on the last day that you could spend with them. And it's also listed as psychological horror, so that should be interesting. And fit right in with some of the other stuff we've been doing on this channel. So stay tuned for that, or tune in for that, I guess. Don't stay tuned in. This channel is gonna not be airing anything until then. And as always, gonna be back on Wednesday. I'm gonna get the VOD up as quick as possible. Not as quick as last time, because I was so on time because I was a week behind. And I released 2 episodes at once. That won't be happening this time, but in a couple days. And, yeah. That's gonna be it for me today. And, on that note, thank you very much for watching. Whether it's live right now, or you're watching the VOD or the video on YouTube, I appreciate you so much. I hope you have a great day, great week, great month, great year, great lifetime. Good night, and see you soon. Bye bye.